There is a game out there that has had a lasting impact on me ever since I played it, and oddly enough, I can't really articulate why it has. The game in question is Atomic Robo-Kid, which is a rather odd specimen. It's a 2D shooter in which you navigate a little robot around levels looking for a hatch-style exit while all sorts of weird-looking things try to kill him. He has different weapons at his disposal that can be acquired along the way, and of course there are bosses too, both big and small. It was released into the arcades in 1988 by UPL, not that I was aware of that fact until very recently. I'd only ever played it on the PC Engine as a kid for a short time, and as far as I was aware, that's all it was, an obscure PC Engine game. It pretty much beat the crap out of me each time I played it. I never got very far. That didn't stop me enjoying it though, and I've been thinking about it from time to time ever since. Been really wanting to have a good go at this game again, so I've got my hands on the PC Engine version and the Mega Drive version. I'm excited to have a proper crack at them and see how well I do this time around. This is Atomic Robo-Kid, a unique experience. Gonna begin where I first did all those years ago, with the PC Engine version that goes by the name of Atomic Robo-Kid Special. Not much preamble or anything here, it just drops you quite abruptly into it after the title screen. Straight away in Act 1, you're dumped in a very nice looking woodland area, and after you advance a few steps, these weird looking purple tumour things are on your case. You can shoot and jump with buttons 2 and 1 respectively, but you can also just fly around if you press up to become airborne. Does make me wonder what the point of the jump button is really, seems kinda redundant. I do love the little animation he has when walking on the ground though. These orb things give you power-ups, but it's random what you get. Gotta shoot them first to make them cycle between the various options, which is represented by a letter, number or colour. Some of them already have a specific power-up assigned that you'll acquire upon collecting it, but you can still shoot it to cycle through. Button 1 switches between the weapon types that you currently have, but only while flying. It also allows you to stay locked facing a direction if you hold it. It gets a bit fiddly because if you want to lock and use a particular weapon, you want to have the previous weapon active first before pressing it to lock, as it will switch when you do. In the heat of the moment, this can be fucking annoying. Having a single button for all of these things is somewhat cumbersome and does take some getting used to. Whilst trying to get to grips with all that, you'll find yourself having to try and avoid an absurd amount of projectiles a lot of the time. Very thankful that there is a health bar in this game, because getting hit by them frequently is something that is just gonna happen. The only real defense you have against this is the missile weapon that actually destroys projectiles upon impact, which is bloody useful. When you do inevitably die and lose a life, the power-up you had active at the time is lost, but the others that you currently have will remain. This is also the case if you use a continue after running out of lives. Gotta be thankful for small mercies. The game continually repeats a 5-act structure that goes like this. The first 2 acts are standard exploration levels with the aim of finding the exit while trying to use your power-ups and evasive skills as best as you can. They mainly involve just getting from the left end to the right end alive. The third is a somewhat violent game of tennis/pong, I guess, against another little robot matey where you have to kill him to advance. A mini-boss of sorts. You're permanently locked facing right during this and only have your basic shot as a weapon. You'll be thrown a few bones as it goes on in the form of a bit of extra health or a slight improvement to the weapon. Funnily enough, when I first played PaRappa the Rapper 2, there is a stage in that where PaRappa puts on some pseudo-vintage VR headset and ends up battling characters in an arena, which immediately made me think of this. A lot of the time it's just a matter of luck if you win or not though, unless there is some kind of trick that I'm missing. Either you manage to kill them first or they kill you. From what I can tell, that's it. The fourth is another exploration type level, though usually quite a bit longer and more complicated to find your way through. Naturally, they tend to be significantly harder due to this. Finally, the fifth is the boss encounter, and these fuckers are big. Most of the time I was just flying circles around them, destroying what bits are needed before being able to damage the main part and finish the job, whilst avoiding whatever shit they litter the screen with. Once the big bastard is brought down, it's back to the beginning of another loop of the 5-act structure. New level layouts and designs that progressively increase in difficulty but follow the same previously established format. Within some of the exploration levels you'll run into this guy who acts as a shop where you can exchange lives for power-ups or a health refill. My initial thought when I first saw him is that he's a robotic bubble dragon from Bubble Bobble. The resemblance is uncanny. I always feel bad when I accidentally shoot him. He doesn't seem too bothered though, it doesn't kill him and he still sells you shit afterwards. The art design of the areas is pretty wacky, from woodlands, robotic areas and whatever the fuck these places are supposed to be. I really like it overall, very colourful and you never quite know what the hell you're going to see next. Now on to the things that piss me off, because as it is a challenging game, naturally there is going to be stuff that does your head in. And the worst of these is the enemy respawning. The fucking respawning. If you move a defeated enemy's location even a sodding millimetre off screen, the bastard can easily just respawn straight away. What's especially cunty about this is that you won't even be aware that they have. First you'll know of it is the barrage of projectiles that have suddenly appeared. This can pretty much trap you in narrow spaces, making it very difficult to move forward if the pricks are ahead of you. The next thing that makes you want to throw the controller through the window is these fucking homing things. They are such a pain in the arse. They slowly catch up to you once fired and never go away. You must perform a vertical manoeuvre like this to shake them off, which you don't always have the room to do because of all the other shit on the screen. The missile can destroy them, but if you're moving to avoid other things, then you won't shoot in their direction, but instead the direction that you're moving in, because that's how the missile works. I've already mentioned the whole direction lock and weapon swap button being the same thing, but the worst outcome of this is swapping to a weapon you want to save, then immediately dying and losing it. To be fair, that can happen even without trying to lock your direction, but yeah. A minor annoyance is these breakable walls that sometimes just won't break for unspecified reasons. Sometimes they break quickly, other times you have to reposition yourself a few times. There is something nasty that can occur with these blocks though. Surprise Robot Pac-Man that does a huge amount of unavoidable damage. Bastard. Then there's these cunts. Just look at this shit, and you can only damage them when their eyes or whatever they're supposed to be are open. I generally just park here and hurl missiles at them for ages until they kick the bucket. Moving along to more positive things, the music is good. These little tunes have become slowly embedded in my head, but I'm not complaining. They certainly seem to be a good match for the imagery on screen. Speaking of imagery, the graphics themselves are top notch. All the animations and general art design looks great and is pretty damn original. The gameplay overall and general responsiveness is decent. Sure, as I've kept mentioning, the whole one button for multiple functions can be a bit shit, but once you get used to it, the game does flow well enough. I think the PC Engine controller helps a lot with this. As far as 8-bit console controllers go, this is one of the best in my eyes. It feels really good to use and looks cool too. Certainly less painful than a Master System controller. Love the look of these, and the console is one of my all-time favourites, but I have to realistically say that the D-pad sucks rhino dick. I guess the next big question is, how have I fared in my various attempts at this game? Well, as a kid, if memory serves me well, I'd mainly just get to the Act 10 boss and get obliterated, only managing to beat him a few times and get to about Act 12 at best, I think. In these current endeavours though, the furthest I've gotten so far is Act 20, where this giant fuckstick makes a complete mockery of me. I've read that there are 25 acts in total, so although I haven't completed it, I'm taking solace in the fact that I've gotten further than I have in the past. With everything said, I'm over the moon to own and play this again. It is a fantastic game that really stands out and will continue to stay with me forever. Time to break some new ground in the world of Atomic Robo-Kid and fire up the Mega Drive version. I've never played this before or seen anything about it, so I'm going in blind. This one just goes by the name Atomic Robo-Kid, no special in sight. Now is also a good time to mention that the way I'm going to be playing this is a tad unconventional. The cartridge that I have is the Japanese version. Had to have it because look at this box and cartridge art. It's awesome. I saw it and just felt compelled to get it. However, as I only own a UK Mega Drive, I got a converter to play this. There is no UK release of this version that I know of. The cartridge being NTSC means that in theory it should play slower on my PAL console, being forced down from 60Hz to 50. With any luck, that might make the game easier. Just to say, the converter doesn't actually convert anything. The cartridge would just naturally work in my console, but that would involve either breaking the casing of it or widening the slot on the console itself. I'm not doing either of those things. Spent enough money on this lot, so essentially the converter is just a pass-through to avoid doing any of that. Of course, I'm prepared for some odd behaviour to happen playing it this way. And wow, that didn't take long. First screen and it's frozen. I assume some text or a cutscene or something is supposed to be going on here. Luckily I can advance by pressing start, thank fuck for that. This would have been short-lived if not. We have difficulty settings here and nice, an easy mode with lots of lives and continues. Sounds good to me, going in with that. The first level is completely different. What gives? Apparently this is more closely based on the arcade version, whereas the PC Engine port is kinda like an extended version, I guess. Suppose that explains the special in its name. Anyway, onwards we go and shit, I died easily there. Hold on a minute. Where's the health bar? Oh no. Oh fucking bollocks, don't tell me. Yep, you die in one hit in this version. Shit on my cornflakes. So much for it being easier, this is gonna be rough. Okay, so not everything immediately kills you, some enemies just slow you down. Good to know. Gotten to Act 2 and Christ, I'm getting beaten the shit out of here. Getting specky R-type flashbacks. Beginning to wonder if this is even possible. Well, as I previously theorised, the game does feel slower than the PC Engine version. Gotta be the 50Hz lending a helping hand. Considering how savage this endeavour has started out, I'll bloody take it. The respawning doesn't seem to be as awful either. Hope is beginning to emerge. Really struggled in this act, but managed to miraculously blag my way into the hatch and out of it. Act 3 is being kinder to me, lots of lovely space to avoid all the shit. Good times. Never mind, I spoke too soon. The boss is here already and is also part of this act instead of having its own one. Am I even hurting it? Had to destroy those flailing tentacles before, but it seems to be doing bugger all here. Ah right, it's the guns on the back instead. Then it's going for the kill and, that didn't take too much to do him in. Things keep on looking up. Into Act 4 we go. I like how they size each other up before the shootout. Still got the curse of the one-hit death here, although it applies to him too. This is a good old-fashioned duel then, cowboy style. Looks like we have another example of the weird side effects from playing this on a UK console variant. I'm guessing that is supposed to be Japanese text, but as the cartridge has detected that this is an English console, it's looking for English text instead, which obviously doesn't exist, so it's just pulled whatever data is in that portion of the code. That's the theory anyway. Haven't researched, can't be asked. It's still letting me through to Act 5, so who fucking cares? Which isn't too horrible a level either. Nice. Forgot to mention, this version still retains the 2-button control scheme, which kind of baffles me. A is to shoot and B is the multi-purpose one. Why couldn't C handle weapon switching or the direction lock? Would make sense, wouldn't it, you'd think? Ah well, I'm kinda used to it now, so it isn't the end of the world, just mildly confusing. Act 6. Seems familiar. Drilling through proficiently enough? Not gonna lie, feeling somewhat confident. Act 7. Brick breaking stuff, already know all about this. And we have Mr. Bubble Dragon, who is more of a pleasure to do business with now that I have a lot more lives at my disposal. Though the narrow passages coupled with the one-hit deaths is a pain to deal with. Boss time, and it's this arsehole, but again, doesn't have those extra things on him that shit other things out to deal with. On to another duel in Act 8. Pretty panicky as this son of a bitch moves fast. Got him in the end, and another bugged cutscene. To be fair, even if it did display the Japanese text, I still wouldn't be able to read it anyway, so technically this is more amusing. Ooh, Act 9 looks very familiar. This was long as shit on the PC Engine and quite a stressful one. These green cunts are stitching me right up. Beyond that though, it hasn't been too bad. Act 10 now with more of these silver worm things. Nothing too taxing though, the adventure continues forth. Gotta say, Act 11 looks more like a general level you'd find in this era of gaming from an art design and colour perspective. Kinda looks oddly cheerful, well compared to everything else that we've seen so far anyway. Damn it, I really need to stop saying shit like that. Now look, this boss is a complete fucking nuisance. Those bloody homing projectiles coupled with that bastard tail is making this a miserable experience. Just can't beat this prick, he's making a total mug out of me. And it's over. I got pretty battered here. Well, guess it's time for another go from the start. Something I've since read about the arcade version is that there are alternate exits in some levels. They also make an appearance here. Using one in Act 2 brings me to an alternate Act 3 which kinda looks like the first level from the PC Engine. That's pretty cool. Same with going from Act 9 into Act 10. Got some new creepy ass looking place going on here. I like it. Right, back at this arsewipe. Need to figure out how to polish him off. Seems circling around him anti-clockwise is the way to go, but gotta be bloody quick. There we go, up yours, dickhead. Another duel for Act 12, and another glitchy cutscene. Act 13 presents us with a futuristic looking beehive or something. I quite like it actually. It reminds me of the big sequence at the end of The Lawnmower Man. Act 14, definitely getting somewhere. Between plays I've read that there is 19 acts total in this port, so maybe a completion is on the cards? Potential alternate exit up ahead, but I don't feel like pushing my luck, so I'm going in this exit. Sod it. Oh dear, perhaps this was a mistake. It's our friend the Progress Destroyer from the PC Engine. I've only got my standard weapon and I gotta get all these green things. Get the feeling this is where this endeavour comes to an end. Fuck. Balls. Dick flaps. Yep, there it goes, my last life and continue. Well, shit. Looking back over my time with this, considering how daunting it seemed at the very start, I've actually had a lot of fun with it. The one-hit thing is scary as hell, but the game seems balanced out enough in other aspects to cater for it. Granted, I was playing on easy mode, but considering I still haven't beaten it, I doubt I'll be attempting higher difficulties anytime soon. Quite impressed with this overall, happy I decided to nab a copy. Can easily recommend this version if you enjoy a challenging old school shooter. I think I have to say the PC Engine version is still my favourite, but I am heavily influenced by nostalgia when saying that. You really can't go wrong with either, in all honesty. And now I have to finish with something that I've only just recently found out about. Atomic Robo-Kid found its way to the ZX Spectrum, if you can believe it. Well, a demo did. Sadly, the full game got scrapped. But the demo, which appeared on the Your Sinclair cover tape, is available online, so I've got to check it out. Would be criminal not to. This channel only exists because of the Specky after all. Thing is, I want to play it on my actual Spectrum, so that's where this comes in, a humble car radio adapter. I just bang this cable into my headphone port and shove the tape end in the deck. Then fire up Spectaculator to load the file at normal speed, which will generate the loading sound to be sent through to the adapter. And here it is, ready to rock and roll. Let's see what this is about. Graphically it looks decent, good colour use, but the movement is kinda choppy. Also, there is no sound effects or music whatsoever. The music you're hearing now is from the Commodore 64 version. Yeah, I know, criminal move there on my part, but had to pick something. Nice detail on Robo-Kid himself and on the enemies, which all seem to function pretty much as they should. Only the projectiles seem to kill you this time, but in one hit again, everything else just slows you down. The weapon power-ups are all present, complete with the orb that you can shoot into a roulette. The keys are QAOP to move, space fires and enter switches weapons, no jump or direction lock that I can find. It is certainly playable and impressive that it runs this competently in 48K. Can't say it's really mind-blowing or anything though, feels functional but that's about it. I get the impression that it's more of a proof of concept at this stage. Only the one level in the demo which upon completion just freezes on this screen. Gotta reset the Spectrum at this point, no other way out of it. Think I can see why the full game never came to be. Looks as if it took a lot just to get this portion up and running. I imagine trying to get the more complicated levels in, plus the duels and the bosses, would be quite a task and most likely not possible to a standard where it would be playable enough. A valiant effort though, and will remain a fascinating curiosity in the pages of history. Really enjoyed looking into Robo-Kid again, it's something I've been dying to do for a long time. Not exactly having a lot of success in regards to the revisits of these games. Between this and R-Type I still don't have any completions under my belt. It's all about the journey though and having fun along the way, which I certainly am. That's my excuse anyway, and I'm sticking to it. And that brings an end to the shenanigans in this video. Have a good one you lot, and I'll see you later.